In other words, if they had been in an apartment by themselves, what would they have done for food, medications, and all of that? The caseworker would have assisted them with that. The caseworker is going to continue to assist them with that. Now, in addition to that, the contract is written in such a way that the caseworker or the agency is going to be responsible for the first $500 in repairs. Now, that's awesome. Now, here's the plan that I'm going to put together in terms of working this kind of thing all over the country. Now, there are other kind of programs where if you want to get involved with providing the food and the doctors and all of that, one of the programs that I like there is called Congregate Living. We will be setting up a few congregate living facilities all over the place, and I will share just a little bit about that as soon as I finish this one. So, with the special needs housing under the Dr. Cashflow program, what I would do also is, as one of my strategies, when I'm talking with an owner about buying his property, either by subject to cashing him out or whatever I'm doing, I will always have in my mind that I can offer this to him as an additional option for him, or as an additional, mercy, I'm getting tongue to that. Give him a choice of how, we're going to do business. Now, Mr. Owner, and personally, I'm setting up nonprofits to do this under, or with. Mr. Owner, I see that you're asking $2,200 for your 4-bedroom rental house. If I could get you, because I'm working with a special needs program with my nonprofit, and I believe that I can really get you an additional $1,000 a month and have socially acceptable people where your neighbors are not complaining about, this, that, and the other. And they're going to be paying the first $500 of the repairs, so you don't have the big maintenance issues. So would you rather rent it out to a regular person like on Section 8 for $2,200, or let me work with you and get you $1,000 more? I think that I can find people who will say, well, yeah, show me more about what you're doing, and I get in there with my videos and all that and show him what I'm all about and how we're doing the thing. And now, if he can make $1,000 and I make $1,000, I say, hey, that's great. Now, I submit to you, now, I don't expect all of you guys to agree with this, but for me, if I could get $1,000 a month on a residual basis, ongoing basis, didn't have to buy the property, I'm not even on the lease in terms of responsibility, all I did was just furnish the property, did the maid service and all that kind of thing, but my initial out-of-pocket was furnishing the property, and, that could be about $10,000, or a little bit more depending on how elaborate I want to go. But see, once I hook up with the agency, and the agency is going to give me a comparable of 2 months for the deposit and the first month's rent, they're going to put 4 people in there, I'm going to get 4 times whatever that number is, and that can be rather substantial up front. All right, now, enough for that right now. The point is, I'm putting that kind of thing together. We will be using that as an exit strategy all over the country. And so if you were not involved in the real special needs program, with talking to the agency and really setting that up and working with our team on that, but if you just had a property, then contact us to see if we can work with you on the exit strategy. You're looking for a buyer for the property. That buyer may be our special needs team who would want to acquire that property for the special needs program. Okay? Now, let's touch bases very quickly on the congregate living. The beauty in the congregate living is this, that we would be providing everything, the medical, the food, the whole 9 yards. And that can be obviously very expensive, but it can also be extremely lucrative. The kind of numbers that are involved is, one of the guys that I'm working with on that, he says, Charles, look, after you take care of the nurses and the doctors and the food and yada, 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 you should be able to cash flow with a 4-bedroom house of a little over $300,000 a year. And I says, oh, no, I don't believe that. I think that that's exaggerated. Even if the number is 100, and $20,000 a year. If after all the dust clears, if I can clear $120,000 on one house, and I'm not talking about an apartment building, on one house, because I have put maybe a couple people in a bedroom, yes, the house would have to be configured properly for the congregate living, meaning that each entryway or hallway or whatever it is for a person to be able to maneuver, it has to be at least wheelchair width, which is 36 inches. So I may have to modify some door openings. Each bedroom has to have its own exit to the outside. So if it has a window, I got to convert that over to some kind of French doors or something to exit. But just think, if there's a home that needs extensive remodel, then why not remodel it in such a way that it could accommodate the congregate living program? You know, the house needs remodeling anyway. Remodel it right, have everything else in place, because, see, as we do 1 and 2, then we would more easily be able to go into another area and put up one. We got the experience and all of that. We put this up in another area. So as an exit strategy, if you had a property that you're trying to unload or flip or whatever, and I say, hey, that would be perfect, it needs all that work, yeah, we can quickly do a congregate living in that particular area, let's do that. We can put the team in there, get the job done, and out of that $125,000, $150,000 that we're going to make, obviously we're going to share that, some of that with you, and probably pull you in to work the team so that you would oversee that, because I'm here to tell you, if you could make $125,000 a year or more, this guy's telling me $300,000, then wow, why not do it? Now, one last thing, because I see that we're already over an hour on this call. One of the other things that my team is in the process of doing, and I shared a little bit of this with the bio. If you go to the bio that I have on Connected Investors, it will share a little bit of this concept with you. And here's the deal. FHA, homeowner occupied, will finance up to a certain level for a apartment, 1 to 4 units. In the Los Angeles area, for FHA, homeowner occupied, 4 units, they will go up to $1.2 million. I just saw, within the past 2 days, a 6-unit building. Now remember, FHA is only up to 4. But I saw a 6-unit building that they're asking $900,000 and change. Now, suppose I could convert that 6-unit, downsize it to a 4-unit, so that it would qualify for FHA financing. Why not consider doing that? Now, one guy that I was talking to, he may be on the conference call right now, he said, well, Charles, wouldn't that decrease the value of the building if you downsized it from 6 units to 4? All right, let's look at it like this. This particular property that I'm talking about is in Hollywood. I think, and again, this was just brought to me a couple of days ago, so I had to do more research, but I would think even if I downsized that property to 4, that it would still appraise at $900,000. So if I can buy it for $900,000, downsize it to 4, and sell it to someone in my database who would qualify for FHA financing, then they could get it financed. Now, here's the way the whole package would go. If I work on building up my database, trying to find people who would be interested in partnering with me to buy these buildings, they would, of course, have to be an owner-occupant, would have to be able to qualify for the loan, but remember, they're going to live in 1 unit. They would have rental income coming in from the other 3. Can they qualify for that? And I partner with them to do so. Now, here's what I'm going to do in LA, and I'll be talking to my attorneys about this in the next couple of weeks. because I want to make sure that what I want to do is kosher and FHA would not frown on. Now, here's what I'm going to do. In developing my database, I'm going to look for people who, at first blush, would say, no, I don't want to buy an apartment building, because if I live in one, then, I'm relying on this income coming in from through rentals. What happens if somebody stops paying their rent and I have to evict them, and then they leave the place in a mess, and then I got to re-rent it, and then it has this problem, that problem, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to be bothered as a landlord. Now, in California, because I'm a licensed real estate broker, I can easily work out getting 3 to 6%, depending on whether or not I'd have to split any of that commission with the owner of a building. Let's say that if I find somebody that I can work with who has not listed this property yet, and they would be willing to pay me 6% commission. If I can get 6% commission, get my FHA buyer in there, and he only needs 3.5% down as an FHA homeowner-occupied buyer. If he only needs 3.5% down, and I get a 6% commission, is there some kind of way that I can partner with this guy, especially if I'm willing to put up all the down payment? Now, in order for him to qualify, he's going to have to show that he has the wherewithal to come up with the whole 3.5%. But let's say that he goes to Uncle Benny, cousin, whoever, and he gets the money just to front in his account, because he will not need to use the money any longer than a day, because through escrow, when I get my commission, I'm going to authorize the escrow company to pinch off $10,000, $15,000 of that commission to go over here to take care of the down payment. So then he really never had to use that money that he had to front. I put up the money. Now, to make a long story short, here's the question. Can I really find somebody that if I convince them that I'm going to put up the money for the down payment, they just have to qualify, but I'm going to really put up the money to reimburse them, for the down payment. So essentially, I put up the down payment. I ultimately want to own half of this project, but I'm also going to guarantee against any shortfall. So if the regular rent, if Bob, who is my co-buyer with me, if Bob's regular rent would have been $1,000, if I say, Bob, look, I still want you to pay $1,000 into this escrow account or into the dues, whatever you want to call it. And now, as I collect rent from the renters, we'll pool all that together like what a management company would do. They'll have all of this money, and now they're going to pay all the expenses, the mortgage, the taxes, the interest, the maintenance, the whole 9 yards, out of this pool of money that it had. Now, ideally, there's going to be some kind of cash flow. Bob and I are co-owners, so we're sharing in the cash flow. I just guaranteed him against the shortfall. So he looks at that and he says, wow, wait a minute. So I'll own essentially half of the building. I'm getting half of the cash flow as it appreciates. The building is going up in value. Hey, I like that. Yes, I only have half the building, but that's better than nothing. So there are more details and all of that. I'm working with that. I'll be working that with the attorney to see if that will fly. If that won't fly, then I'll put it together in form of a management agreement. I'm a licensed real estate broker in California, so I can be quite creative in terms of management agreements. The point is, I'm going to do something like that in California. I have a way that I can do it in other states through working out options, pooling with other people, that type of thing. So that's the way we would do it. So again, I know that I didn't get into much information on corporate credit, so let me do it this way. And this, I think, will really help get you guys focused. I believe that our major objective in business is to first become financially independent and then become wealthy. The beauty in real estate as an investment tool is real estate can accomplish both of those for you. It can get you to financial independence, and then you don't have to develop a whole new strategy to go from there to financial, wealth. So now what you want to do is this. You want to determine what vehicle is best for you to use. And we've already said for us it would be real estate. Now within that vehicle, what strategy are you going to use? So what strategy will you use to get from financial independence, and then you're going to take that to wealth? Now, whatever the strategy is, you will need to have tools. That's Tools, tools to work with. Just like a plumber, of course, he's going to need his snakes and other things. The gardener's going to need the lawnmower. You're going to need tools. Now, as a tool, do you need to have good credit as a tool? Well, I submit to you that there's so many strategies where you don't need good credit. If you told me, Charles, yes, I need good personal credit, then you're not looking at the right tool. If you have good personal credit right now, then great. Use that niche strategy, whatever, because you already have that tool that you say is necessary. So whatever necessary tool you have, and so you have necessary tools, and then you have luxury tools. So for you, if good credit is a necessary tool, then you need to have it right now. Otherwise, work on a different strategy. Having corporate credit or business credit, is that a necessary tool for the strategy that you'd like to work? Well, no, it would just be a luxury tool. Then what you need to do is focus in on the strategy that you want to work with, not get sidetracked with luxury tools, because if you don't have it now, and if you can't get it for 6 months to 8 months to a year to 2 years, if it takes you that long to really be able to utilize corporate credit correctly, then you don't need to be working on that kind of strategy right now. Focus in on developing a strategy where you either right now have all the tools that you need, or by next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now, you can get all the tools in place and work on that strategy. So what tools do you need right now? One good thing in working with a group is the group can actually share in some of the tools that you think that you might need. Now, for an example, I would recommend, and I would like for you to write this down, it's called iFlip. I and SLIP. iFlip. iFlip has a tremendous tool because you'll need to, first of all, get more education. With iFlip, for the first 30 days, Cameron Dunlap will supply you with all the lead generation tools you need, the dashboard, where you can organize yourself, just do a full job in terms of getting everything that you need for your business. And he also gives you training. He gives you a full 3-day training program on video and audio. You can get all of this 30-day trial for $1.99. And then after that, it's $79 a month. Now, there are other programs out there somewhat similar to his, and I have suggested some of those programs to our team in the past. And yes, we are already sharing in some of those, where those particular companies are charging $50 a month, $80 a month. We're working it as a team, and I'm supplying some of my team members with several different tools, and they're only paying $40 and $50 a month, and they're sharing in all kinds of tools. So you look at what you will need for your individual strategy. Now, I am actually done with this presentation. It took a lot longer than I thought, but hopefully it has been valuable to you, and I'll have to see how the recording turned out, because if it turned out fairly well, then I can make the recording available to you. So now what I want you guys to do is I'm going to unmute. If you have to go, that's fine, but I would love for the team to get acquainted, and like I said, if you got to go, that's fine. But at least email me some feedback in terms of the call. And certainly give me your contact information. Let me know that you were on the call. And then we'll take it from there if you need to request information that I said that I've already sent to a number of team members. Request the information. Just say that you request a packet. You don't have to try to list the individual things. But you request a packet because you didn't get one. And I will email that packet out to you. So I'm going to unmute. And for those of you who have to go, thank you so much again for your time, your patience, and your consideration of joining the group. And so now I will unmute, and please, let me know that you're on the call. Give me your name. Let me know if we have actually had a personal conversation before. So give me your name, the area that you work in, like if you're in New Orleans or New York, the area that you work in, and your specialty, if you're a lender, wholesaler, or what. So don't take over a couple minutes, though, so I want it to be very short. So right now I'm going to unmute. Let's see, how do I do this? Unmute and okay. Okay, press *1 to unmute.
Hello, Charles?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Charles. This is Crystal. Means I am actually in Maryland, clear across the country. So I apologize for jumping in, but I wanted to go first because I do have to get going. I'm 3 hours ahead of you guys.
Okay.
I have not had any conversations with you. I've been emailing back and forth with you. I'm new to the group. I'm new to Connected Investors at Awareness Information, and I'm new to the flipping business, and I have a couple properties that you may be interested here in Maryland, and I'd be happy to share that with you.
Please do.
And I can email you some information later on this afternoon.
Okay.
I look forward to working with all of you, and I appreciate the information that you gave me. Starting my new business, this came in a perfect timing for me.
Okay, great. Now remember, I still want you to email me, though, and let me know that you were on the call, and let me know if you need a packet.
I have the packet. You did send that out to me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Who's next?
Hey, Charles.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
Oh, Charles, how you doing? My name is James Madura Jr. I'm in Tallahassee, and as the previous individual said, it's been a godsend. I really appreciate it. I emailed you because I'm a disabled vet also, and what you talked about is what exactly I'm trying to do, which is set up. I have a for-profit company, but I'm trying to set up a non-profit and do basically the same things because there's a lot of vets that need housing. But the way you put it actually will work out better because I've been running into issues with the funding and all that. But you gave a different perspective with getting with potential owner and then using a quad or something like that to meet that need. So basically, I'm very interested, and I'm going to be emailing you about the particulars, and I'll definitely be somebody I would like to be on your team.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day now.
Okay.
Who's next?
Hey, Charles?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Charles Maris. I'm here in Houston, Texas. I met you at the Fortune Builders Mastery Group.
Oh, yes, of course. You and Ray.
Ian Ray. Yeah, you remember that, huh? Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, what was the name of that book that you mentioned? Corporate something?
Yeah. Let me do this. Did you get a packet from me?
I don't know. Is that the packet that came in 3 parts?
Well, it had 3 downloads, and one of the downloads explains all of that. It indicates 3 or 4 of the corporate record books that I have. I got mine off of eBay, and they only cost me about $5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if I got that. I think I did because is one of them the actual book that talks about business credit success?
Yes, Yes.
Okay, then I have it. I just have to download the other two. I have the
Okay.
one. I didn't download the other two. Okay.
Okay, great. And tell Ray hi for me.
He might be on a call. I don't know. Ray, you on a call? I don't know. I told him to get on the call. I know he's ready to go out of town. So are you still here? Are you still here in Houston?
I haven't been to Houston in about 3 or 4 months, but
Okay.
I'll probably come back next month and spend the rest of the year in my Houston home.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I'll be seeing you by then.
Oh, hey, I will certainly look you guys up. Thank you much. Appreciate you being on the
it,
call. Be blessed.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Who's next? Anybody else?
Go back to just me and you, huh?
Charles.
Yes. Who's it?
Real
Sounds
quick.
like Isaac.
No, this is James Maduro Jr., the guy in Tallahassee, real quick. I want
Okay.
to ask you a question. You were talking about the team, right? Developing a team.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just be, I don't even know who's on the call besides the gentleman you just talked to, but I actually was involved with iFlip. Me and another individual kind of bought the expensive package, and I'm going through it now. It's like, oh my goodness, I didn't think it's good, but I don't think I was ready, because what you're doing is more one-on-one and hands-on, which I think I'm glad that I'm talking to you, because now I can kind of understand what's going on with iFlip a little more. And truthfully, it was kind of like overwhelming at first. But when you start breaking it down, now it makes more sense. I could kind of slowly digest it and probably get into it. And the reason I want to talk to you real quick is that if we're going to be part of the team, which hopefully I'll meet all of whatever your criteria is to be part of the team, because I want to do basically what you're saying, not just develop wealth, but also help my veterans and all that kind of stuff. So it's an altruistic type thing. Not I'm a goody two-shoe. I just think they need help. And if I can do that and still become financially independent and then eventually wealthy, I want to do it. But I assume it's going to be some type of system that you're going to kind of be training us on to make sure that we get to where we need to get to. And in that, what is the timeline? I know you may not be saying specifically, but you were talking about, I don't want to take a year or 2 years to get, or at least start the process. So what is the timeline most likely to start? I'm ready to start as soon as you say, this.
Okay. I have an associate. Her name is Tasha. Tasha is out of Cypress, Texas, and Tasha and I have been collaborating for the past 3 or 4 months. She loves special needs housing. Matter of fact, her daughter falls into that category in terms of special needs. She is also a veteran.
Okay.
And so I sent her out some materials, and she's been working on it for several months. She's already contacting agencies there in what I'm going to call the greater Houston area to implement a program. She's been doing investing for several years, with several, kind of smaller projects.
Yes, sir.
But she's already on board. I have another group that I'm working with out of New Jersey.
Okay.
And Merlon, and I think I mentioned in the call that I didn't even ask them to get on the line. But they've been doing special needs for at least 2 years, and they have gone so far as to even build apartment structures in New York. And they have those exclusively as special needs. Now, what I'm going to do is I've already talked to them about us teaming up. Now, they told me that they were considering teaming up with Dr. Cashflow. Matter of fact, they were actually introduced to the program, to the concept, by Dr. Cashflow, whose actual name is Nick Sidoti, who's not too far from them in New Jersey. But they tell me that Nick does not really disclose everything in his tapes and in his material. And they have taken it to a little different level. And what they were thinking about doing was hooking up with Nick, kind of massaging his plan and taking his plan around the country. And, of course, they sell the program. Nick sells his program from $700 to about $1,000, depending on how you were connected with them.